Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. My name is Mark Road, and in today's video we are going to be going over the top 15 plus maybe one honorable mention. Is there an one second, sorry guys, I'm over here. 1 second, is there an honorable mention? Yeah, plus an honorable mention, so 16 best drift cars for less than $5,000. Why? Because we've been doing this for random things. We did it with like race cars, we did it with like daily drivers, and today we're doing it with drift cars. I like drift cars, I'm a big drift car boy, so if you like drift cars, here you go. If you're looking for a budget drift car, here you go. A lot of people think it's like impossible nowadays to find a budget drift car because 240s are like 10 grand. Listen, there are still plenty of rear-wheel drive clap boxes for 5 grand on Facebook Marketplace, friends. You could drift anything that's rear-wheel drive. That's pretty much all you need is rear-wheel drive and a manual transmission, and the car is ready to go. All right. Song of the day is called Ric Flair Drip by Metro Boomin and Offset. It's a classic, okay? It's back in like a 2016 times when we were listening to the song, but it still hits today. It's a rap song, obviously, so if you don't like rap music, don't listen to it. But yeah, it's a banger, so go give it a listen. But without further ado, let's go right into the list with number 15. Alright, but coming in at the number 15 spot, first of all, sorry for my heater being on in the background, I apologize. If I waited for that to turn off, we'd be here for decades. But it is going to literally any two-wheel drive small truck, okay, whether that be a Ford Ranger, Toyota Tacoma, Nissan Hardbody, any small truck, Chevy S10 that you can lower on the ground and is two-wheel drive. It'll work, okay? It will work. There are plenty of people that do this. Don't think that you're any different just because you didn't have a 3.7 GPA or something, okay? You could still drift a two-wheel drive small truck. There's plenty of people that do it. Obviously, in terms of like motors or whatever, it's differing depending on whichever one you decide to get, but they all make, I would say, right around like the 150 to 200 horsepower mark. They're not fast, they're not rocket ships or anything, they're not the best drift cars out there, but they are a good start. And coming in at the number 14 spot, obviously a video about cheap drift cars. We're going to include a couple BMWs because they are like the epitome for cheap drift cars. 14th place is the BMW Z3. Yeah, these things are actually starting to get popular in the drifting world. People are starting to realize, hey, wait a minute, they are just lighter, shorter wheelbase E46, E36s. Okay, that is pretty much what they are. They come with a 3-liter inline 6, making 225 horsepower, and they are rear-wheel drive. Obviously, it is not hard to find these as manuals. It's not hard to find these available in general, and like I just said, they're pretty much just smaller E46s, man, and those are obviously incredible drift cars. However, coming in at the number 13 spot is a bit of an unconventional one that you might not immediately think of when thinking of drift cars. Any cheap Subaru. I know what you're thinking. Listen, I know what you are thinking. You're thinking to yourselves, Mark, those are all-wheel drive. That doesn't make sense. Well, yes, they are most of the time all-wheel drive cars. However, it is insanely easy to take like a 2001 Subaru Outback and swap it to rear-wheel drive. It is so easy. My friend Eric did it with his WRX, and it was a 2012, it was more complex. He did it with his WRX in literally 2 hours. It took him 2 hours to swap it to rear-wheel drive from all-wheel drive, and it's that simple. There are some other things, like you gotta do some weird thing with like the ABS modules and stuff like that, but besides that, it's pretty simple to turn these into rear-wheel drive, and they're super cheap, at least where I'm from, because everybody has them. Coming in at the old 12th space spot, obviously for the Subarus, by the way, in terms of like motors or whatever they come with, it differs depending on whichever one you get. But anyway, 12th place is going to the Ford Mustang GT SN95. This is both the SN95 and the New Edge Mustangs. I'm putting them both here in the same spot. They're the exact same cars, literally just a facelifted version of the other car. And they come with a 4.6-liter V8, making 260 horsepower, and it is rear-wheel drive. The reason why, these are genuinely like one of the best drift cars out there right now, but the reason why it's not like higher is because they are getting to that point where it's harder to find them under 5K. People are starting to recognize that these, while they aren't like the epitome of a muscle car like people were looking for, they're still incredible little tiny lightweight V8 powered 260 horsepower rear-wheel drive rockets, and so people are starting to buy them up, and so it's going to be harder to find them under 5K, but once you do, you have a 260 horsepower rear-wheel drive, relatively lightweight, especially for a muscle car, with a freaking V8 under the hood. Like, that's a great combo. 11th place has just an absolutely incredible combo, but there's one downside to it. It's the Lexus SC400. If you know me, you know how much I love the SC400, friendo. I have been trying to do nothing in my life except buy an SC400. That is my end goal, is to get an SC400 one day. That's all I want in life, SC400s. Obviously not really, it's an FD-RX-7, but the SC400 is a pretty cool car. The car comes with a 4-liter V8 making 270 horsepower, and it is rear-wheel drive. That obviously sounds incredible. A Toyota V8, so so it's reliable, making 270 horsepower going to the rear wheels. So what's the downside? Why is it here at the number 11 spot and not first place? First of all, they're heavy with a very long wheelbase, which isn't exactly what you want in drifting, but also they are unfortunately only available as an automatic. You do have to swap it to manual, and that does take work. This is not the one for like beginners. You know, if this is your first ever time owning a project car, don't get this one obviously, but they are good cars if you know what you're doing, and you can swap a manual. Breaking its way into the number 10 spot is the tried and true method, the one that everybody in Russia has, the Volvo 240. Of course, the Volvo 240, as long as it's under $5,000, will always be a good option for just about anything. It's reliable, it's safe, it's got like a relatively okay wheelbase, it's got a relatively okay weight to it. It comes with a 2.3 liter inline 4, making 114 horsepower going to, of course, the rear wheels. Now, the only reason why I'm not putting the Volvo 240 higher is because I don't think the Volvo 240 is like the best car out there under 10 grand. It's just like, that's the thing about the Volvo 240 is it's like, it's not the best in any one thing, but it's good in every little thing. You know what I'm saying? It is a good drift car, but it's not the best drift car. It's a good race car, but it's not the best race car. It's a good rally car, but it's not the best rally car. It's a good daily driver, but it's not the best daily driver. It's just good at everything it does, but it's not perfect. It's what's the word there? Good at all of them, master of none, or whatever that is. That's what this car is. Ninth place is starting to become more and more obvious. I feel like people are starting to talk about it more and more. People are starting to understand what this thing does. I've also, another car that I've been a big fan of ever since I found out about them, the Hyundai Genesis Coupe BK1s. I like the BK1s better than BK2s in terms of looks. Obviously, the BK2 is the better one. But either way, you're not finding a BK2 under 5K. It's going to be even a little bit hard for you to find a BK1 under 5K. But if it is a drift car, you could probably find, you know, a salvage title one. It shouldn't be that hard. And since it's a drift car, who really cares? And the car comes with a 2-liter turbocharged inline 4, making 210 horsepower, and it is rear-wheel drive. I would recommend the 2.0T, but the V6 does make more power out of the gate. However, the 2.0 turbo does have the better power potential. So it's kind of a payoff there. But at the end of the day, this car isn't known for its, you know, reliability in terms of handling power anyways. Don't expect to make like 500 horsepower on this car reliably. It's not going to happen. It's just a good starter budget drift car. Coming in at 8th place, however, is probably a bit of an odd one. I feel like most people weren't expecting it to be on here. I wasn't even expecting to put it on here. It was like one of the last cars I put on the list. The Chevy Corvette C4. Obviously, Corvettes are super good cars. Don't get me wrong. Like, everybody knows that. Corvettes are just, you know, incredible at what they do. But I feel like nobody really thinks of them in terms of drifting. Maybe nowadays with the C6s, people are starting to drift C6s more often, but I still feel like they're relatively, you know, unheard of in the drifting space. The C4 is one of the only ones you can find under 5K. As a matter of fact, besides the C3, I think it is. And the car comes with a 5.7 liter V8, making 200 horsepower, and it is rear-wheel drive. However, take that number with a grain of salt, because pretty much every year of the C4 Corvette had different horsepower numbers. Like, literally every one. So it obviously depends on what year you get, what trim you get, etc. But either way, that's not really the point anyway, because you're probably going to want to swap this motor out. The reason why you want this for a drift car is for A, its weight, its wheelbase, and its just absolute sports car heritage. 7th place is a car just like that, where you're probably going to want to just swap the motor out anyways, but it's the Mazda RX-8. The RX-8, man, because it's hated on, like, literally nobody in the world talks about RX-8s anymore. It's just like, besides me, I feel like I'm the only human being on planet Earth that like appreciates the RX-8. Everybody's like, it's so unreliable. So is the FD RX-7, but it's my favorite car in the world. Like, I don't care that it's unreliable. It's still a cool car. Either way, the car comes with a 1.3 liter 2-rotor rotary engine, making 212 horsepower, and it's rear-wheel drive. In terms of cool factors, this one, you know, takes the cake on this video. A rotary powered car is automatically cooler than a regular engine car. However, it is, you know, unfortunately really unreliable. So you're probably going to want to swap it with something like an LS, a 2J, SR20 maybe even. I don't even know if an SR20 would, well, I'm sure it would, but yeah, something. However, coming in at the old number 6 spot is another very unconventional one, just like the Subaru. As a matter of fact, it's pretty much the exact same thing as a Subaru, but I do think that there are more options for you out there, and I just kind of like them a little bit better. Any cheap Audi. Obviously, in terms of motors, yet again, it differs depending on whichever motor Audi that you decide to go with here, but you can find so many freaking Audis for less than $5 nowadays. A4 B7s, A4 B6s, A4 B5s, just to name a few. But then there's obviously the A6s. The A5s weren't a thing until like the late 2000s, so, and those are not under 5K right now. But there are some dirt cheap A8s out there, like 90s A8s. There's even cars that are before that I don't know about. There are so many dirt cheap Audis that you can find. And yes, they're all-wheel drive again, and I know you're probably thinking, oh, I can't drift all-wheel drive. Swap it. It's not that hard. Same thing with the Subarus. It's not hard to swap these to rear-wheel drive. Coming in at the old number 5 spot is obvious. It's a tried and true. It's still under 5K. It's still a good option, pretty much. Honestly, even if these things were like 5 grand, 6 grand, they'd still be a good option. This is a BMW 328i E36. The reason why I'm not putting it first, even though everybody's probably thinking this deserves first place, it's like the number 1 go-to budget drift car right now, is because I do think it's getting harder and harder to find a 328i under 5K. You can find a 323i convertible, that's easy, but 328i's, those are harder. And the car comes with a 2.8 liter inline 6, making 190 horsepower, and it is rear wheel drive, obviously. Now, there is one thing I would like to say about the E36 though. I would honestly just recommend buying an auto and swapping it to manual at this point, because finding a clean manual 328i E36 for less than 5 grand, it's impossible. It's like finding a needle in a haystack. But if you find an automatic and swap it, they're going to be a lot cleaner. Coming in at 4th place is yet another obvious one, but it's probably not the one you were thinking of. Ooh, I took you for a loop there, partner. How do you feel, huh? Do you feel violated? Sorry. It's the Mazda Miata NB, not the NA, the NB, because the NB is the exact same thing, just slightly better. I said it, and I'm not going back on it. What you gonna do? Come over to my house and pick my boogers? Too late. I already did it myself, friend. Comes with a 1.8 liter inline 4, making 135 horsepower, and it is rear wheel drive. Like I said, it's pretty much the same car as an NA, and everybody likes the NAs. I understand why you like the NAs. They're cute little cars. They got the little pop-up headlights and all that stuff. That's adorable. But the NBs are just better. They're better, and as of right now, they're like the exact same price too. So you're not even like spending more money for a better car. You're spending the exact same amount of money for a better car. However, coming in at 3rd place is like the one that I was about to buy. You guys wanted to see me build one of these, and I almost did, and then I ended up backing out. I got scared. But it's the Lexus IS300. The IS300 is pretty much the SC400 with a slightly worse motor. It really depends on what you're looking for, honestly, but a different motor and a much smaller wheelbase and much lighter weight. That's pretty much it. And while the SC400 wasn't built to have a manual attached to it, because the 1UZ never had a manual, the 2JZ that's in the IS300s does have a manual, so it's even easier to swap it to manual if you find an automatic. The car comes with a 3 liter inline 6, making 225 horsepower, and it is rear wheel drive. It is a 2JZ, but it's not the GTE 2JZ. It's just a regular naturally aspirated 2J, so keep that in mind. It's not going to make 7,000 horsepower on stock internals. It might make 600. That's still pretty good though, and it's lightweight, short wheelbase, great drift car. However, coming in at 2nd place is, in my opinion, the better option today over the E36, the BMW 330ci E46. I do think the E46s, for the prices, are getting to the point where they're slightly better, because they are right around the same price point as an E36, I would say, but they're just more modern cars with better horsepower numbers. And on top of that, from what I've heard, they can make better power as well. So I do think that they're slightly better. They come with a 3 liter inline 6, making 225 horsepower, and they are rear wheel drive, of course. This is the same motor that we were talking about earlier with the Z3, and it is a slightly heavier car than the Z3, so you might be like, well, why is the Z3 lower than the E46 then? The E46 has significantly more like aftermarket support. It's going to be so much easier to find parts for and stuff like that than a Z3 is. However, the honorable mention, it's another BMW. There's 3 BMWs on this list. Am I a BMW fan? I don't know. You tell me. There's 3 BMWs on one list. I'll wait for your answer. The answer is yes. Car is the BMW 540i E39. People don't think of like 5 Series for some reason when they're drifting, and maybe it's because of the weight. They are slightly heavier than 3 Series, and 3 Series are just going to be, better overall. But then you got to remember what the 5 Series offers. This car comes with a 4.4 liter V8, making 286 horsepower, and it is rear wheel drive. You're finding pretty much no other BMW for less than 5 grand with that amount of power. And yes, it's slightly heavier than the 3 Series, but again, it makes up for it in the power. But first place, in my opinion, just the best overall drift car in 2025 for less than 5 grand right now, and it's not even close. It's the Infiniti G35 sedan. I don't understand how people are not buying these things up more often. If you can find a coupe for under 5K, same thing pretty much. I would just, if you really don't care about like clout though and style points, just get the sedan, man. They're cheaper. The coupes are really only better because they look better. That's really the only reason why people care about them. The car comes with a 3.5 liter V6, making 287 horsepower, and it is rear wheel drive. Hate on VQs all you want. Saying that this is a bad drift car just shows you know nothing about cars. Like, I'm sorry, but that's just the truth. You can hate the VQ. You can say the VQ is a bad motor as much as you want. You can say you don't like the noise. That's fine. That's up to you as personal opinion. But saying the car paired with this motor is a bad car overall is dumb. The car is incredible. It's got almost 300 horsepower out of the gate. It's rear wheel drive. It's not that lightweight. I'm going to be honest. These cars weigh like 3,700, 3,600 pounds, I want to say, which is definitely heavier, but weight reduction is a thing. This is a sedan. Take the 2 back seats out. Take all the interior crap out. Take the spare tire out. Like, there's a ton of weight to be saved on this car, too. So you could save weight, and I just don't understand how more people aren't drifting these things. But ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of today's video of the top 15 best drift cars for less than $5,000. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel for more content just like these. Let me know what other videos you'd like to see in the comment section down below. And yeah, as always, thanks. I don't know what I was about to say there. I was like, as always, and was about to say something, and then completely forgot what I was about to say. So, as always, whatever, I guess. Let me know what other videos you like to see. I always say this in every video, but I really do appreciate recommendations. It helps move the channel along faster and helps give me fresh ideas. Dude, I've been doing this for 3 years. Obviously, I've ran out of ideas at this point. So at this point, you know, asking you guys what you want to see, in my opinion, just benefits to both of us. So whatever you guys want to see would be really great. I'm forgetting what I wanted to tell you, but I do that every single day of my life. I forget things that go in my mind and then right out my mind, and I'm just like, wait, what was I just thinking of? It happens all the time, at least like once or twice per hour. I'm like, wait, what was I just thinking of? And it drives me absolutely insane. It drives me up the wall. I feel like a spider. It's frustrating. So I don't know what I was going to tell you, but either way, thank you guys so much for watching. I do appreciate it. Das Vidania, and have a nice night.